the ongoing renovations.
I think the work in Lincoln will provide a great boost to the economy in Lincoln and also attract more people to this place, especially with the new transport links and new shopping centres. Provide a great place for Lincoln.
I think the work that's going on at the moment is a bit of a headache, but I think when it's finished it will be brilliant. Really looking forward to the new transport hub because that bus station was awful.
It's creating so much problems for the people. I mean, getting down to the new bus station is not easy, and then what's going on over here. I know it's got to be done, and it's really good that it is being done, but the scheduling of it's not ideal, is it?
So that was the opinion of some of Lincoln's residents. Joining us in the studio is our planning correspondent Naomi Harvey. It sounds like some people weren't happy with the redevelopments. What's the general consensus, Naomi?
Well, most of the public do agree that obviously it will be beneficial in the future. However, right now it is a bit of a pain. People are struggling to access certain parts of Lincoln, and there are diversions around the train station. We've also got to remember that not long ago the Corn Exchange was an old market which was open to locals for many years. So understandably, people are having a hard time adjusting.
So what benefits will all the new developments hold for Lincoln as a city?
Well, the transport hub alone is a huge benefit for Lincoln. Lincoln has 3.7 million visitors a year, and so our main priority is being able to travel in and to Lincoln. The transport hub itself is going to have a new bus station, it's going to have taxi ranks and places to store bikes, as well as a huge car park. So this is going to make travelling much easier. The Corn Exchange building is going to... What?
Naomi, thank you very much.
The government has awarded a £1.5 million grant to the International Bomber Command Centre to fund the next phase of construction. The centre on Cannock Hill remembers those who lost their lives during the Second World War bombing campaigns. Our reporter, Becky Lancashire, has more on this. Okay, you need to get on.
Name after name is engraved into this wall. If you were to count them individually, you'd find that over 26,000 men are remembered on this patch here in Lincoln. But this wall, along with the 102-foot steel spire that towers above it, are only the first part of a much wider project. A new £1.5 million government grant now means that a visitor centre will soon be added to the site.
To get government support for something commemorating Bomber Command has been a mission. Hugely grateful now that some of the LIBOR funding has been allocated, and what it essentially means is we'll be able to get a wind-tight, weather-proof building up, and of course that gives us time to continue fundraising for all of the internal fittings and of course the rest of the gardens.
Lincoln was chosen for the site as it provides a central location for all 27 bases that earned Lincolnshire the nickname Bomber County. The cathedral actually provided as a landmark for those Bomber Command crews both leaving and returning from missions. And for those who never did make it back, the cathedral was often the last sight of home. Becky Lancashire, LSJ News, Lincoln.
The University of Lincoln is to open a new school of geography. It will focus on the inhabited earth, environmental health, water and climate change. Students have already applied for the courses which are due to start next September. The founding head of school, Professor Mark Macklin, is here to tell us more. Why is it important for Lincoln to have a geography school?
Well, it obviously doesn't have one at present. Geography is one of the more expanded subjects, both in terms of A-level and GCSE, and in terms of the major challenges that the planet has in the 21st century. Geographers are very well placed to deal with those major issues such as flooding, climate change, crime, deprivation, and the like.
Brilliant. So what do you hope to bring to the university with a new school?
What I hope to bring is a group of enthusiastic, well-educated graduate students. We're also setting up a new Lincoln Centre for Water and Planetary Health. So it's both an undergraduate programme and also a research programme as well.
And do you think the new school will attract more students to come to this university?
I very much hope so. We hope to have 15 BA and 15 BSc students come September, and then hopefully within 3 or 4 years' time we'll probably double those numbers.
And finally, are you going to bring a new teaching way when you're teaching geography at the university?
Well, I think you touched on it in your introduction. I mean, the main focus is going to be the safety and health of the inhabited Earth. So it really is training people to deal with those major global and local challenges. So the short answer is yes.
Brilliant. You're watching LSJ News, and still to come on the programme, we've been getting into the Halloween spirit with a visit to a haunted cafe and also a local pumpkin farm. More on these stories later.
Start with the squash, and the hunt is on to find Steve.
Yeah, brilliant. Sorry.
Eastgate and Lindham Squash Clubs have won a joint bid to host the Regionals Junior Squash Competition. The event will take place next weekend, and we will see juniors from across the East Midlands compete. I went down to the Eastgate Squash Club to find out more. Every week in England, over 224,000 people play squash or racquetball. Squash in Lincolnshire is also thriving, with over 120 active members at Eastgate Squash Club alone. Next weekend, we'll see juniors from across the East Midlands competed in the regional squash competition. This will be across 4 different levels of the under-13s, the under-15s, the under-17s and the under-19s. Chris Martin, the event organiser, is looking forward to the competition.
Well, I think people can expect a fantastic weekend of squash. The East Midlands Regionals has all the top juniors from around the East Midlands region, so I think from under-11s through to under-19s there'll be some fantastic squash on show.
Daniel Wells, a member of the Eastgate Squash Club, will be competing in the under-17s category. Since starting playing at 7, he is now ranked 11th in the country and has had a successful squash career so far.
I've won quite a lot of the Lincolnshire tournaments and a couple of the regional tournaments. I've actually won quite a few of the silvers as well, which is a bigger tournament, which is national.
Daniel regularly practices with his twin sister Katie, who is also competing in next week's championship. His expectations are high for the competition.
I'm hoping to play 1 for East Midlands, so hopefully I'm going to go on and win this competition.
And with over 60 juniors competing in the competition, the answer as to who will win is anyone's game. Tasha LSJ Today.
Lincoln City manager Danny Cowley has said he's fully committed to the club, saying he sees the job as a long-term project. The Imps boss has been linked with the vacancy at rivals Grimsby Town and was at one point the bookies' favourite for the job after they parted company with Paul Hurst earlier this week. Daniel Kahn spoke to Cowley earlier this week in an exclusive interview.
Obviously it's such a short-term industry and our strategy is a long-term one, and that's why we're so pleased when we win, because we know when we win and we accumulate points it gives us time to really implement what we're trying to create. And it's I know there's been talk over the last few days and speculation with regards to the Grimsby role, but we're 100% people, and we're 100% committed to this and fully focused on trying to move this great club forward.
Still with sport, and children in Lincolnshire were treated to a half-term hockey camp yesterday at Lindham Hockey Club. Kids aged from 4 to 17 took part in the event organised by the Hurricane Sports Foundation, a charity aimed at increasing participation within sport. Elliot Dalton went along to find out more.
700,000 children in England play hockey, and there were 91 from across Lincolnshire who attended the event. Hurricane Sports Foundation has helped increase the number of juniors at Lindham Hockey Club by around 50% since its creation in 2012. Founder and CEO of the foundation, Gary Johnson, is responsible for the day-to-day work that Hurricane do and even gets involved at the camps himself.
It's a UK charity that is all about increasing participation within sport, physical activity and health. And we want to try and get young children, which we can see here today, adults and old age pensioners, more active and healthier throughout the whole of the UK, really.
Lindham is the largest junior base in Lincolnshire, but youngsters from other clubs such as Leadenham and Horncastle travelled to show off their skills. The camps aim to increase participation but are also vital in developing sporting ability as well as core social skills for the children.
They're really specific to what I want to do, so I can improve on things I need to do specifically, so it really helps.
I think it's just getting involved because they get to meet new people, learn new skills.
With all my friends here and it's very fun.
Yeah, they're really good. It's a really good way to sort of develop how you play.
So fun, and you meet loads of people.
Participation in hockey increased by 23% after London 2012 when the Team GB women's team won bronze. Currently it's too early to tell what the effect of Rio 2016 will be, but youngsters will certainly be inspired to take up the sport after the women went 2 better in Brazil and won the gold medal.
It's not just Lincoln, but Lincolnshire based, as children from other clubs and schools have travelled across the county to be here today. For some, it's their first taste of hockey, but for others, it's a chance of improving the skills that they already have. Hurricane Sports aim to put on one of these camps every half term, with the idea of putting 4 on during the February half term in 2017, and the idea is to get children outdoors and active in sport.
Everyone took something away from the day, but some were awarded with prizes for most improved player and best player on the day. But thanks to a growing sport and keen youngsters, Hurricane has certainly got the ball rolling for a lot of promising young hockey careers. Elliot Dalton, LSJ Today.
Let's catch up on all the entertainment news, starting with the very last BBC episode of The Great British Bake Off. Here's our reporter, Becky Lancashire.
Thanks, Jared. Now, if you haven't watched the Bake Off final yet, you might want to cover your ears now to avoid the spoilers. The final of the show last night saw Candice Brown fight off competition and be crowned champion. Candice! This marks the end of the 7th series of the show and the final one to be broadcast on the BBC after Channel 4 bought the rights. So, do you agree with the results? Let us know if you are all for the lipstick-loving lady or if it was Andrew or Jane that tickled your taste buds by tweeting us at LSJ Today Tweets. Now, would you be surprised if we were to tell you that ABBA are going to be reunited? Well, all 4 members of the Swedish pop group will be joined together once more for a new digital entertainment project. The team have not formally performed together since they split up more than 30 years ago, but with a little help from a virtual reality and artificial intelligence, we could be feeling very thankful for the music next year. And Halloween is creeping upon us fast, but have no fear, there really is plenty to do in Lincoln over the next few days. Lincoln Castle will be hosting lots of spooky activities as part of its Victorian Weekend of Fear, where visitors can expect spooky stories, performances and a Victorian funeral each evening. And for more details on the events across the city, you can find those on the Visit Lincoln website. And that's all for now.
Thank you, Becky. Talking of things that go bump in the night, do spirits dine among us in Lincoln? Well, that's what one cafe owner on Steep Hill is asking after a visit from a real-life Ghostbuster. Aaron Renfrey went along to see if he could say boo to a ghost.
Most people come to Modern Classics Cafe in Lincoln for a good, hearty breakfast, much like this one right here. But did you know there might be a few ghostly guests who dine among us? And we're here to investigate. Jason Pick has owned the 600-year-old building for 7 years now and has heard many ghostly stories about the building's past.
Then I had a lady come over from Scunthorpe and she started to cry in the cafe. And I said to her, you know, you all right? She said, oh, there's definitely something here. I said, well, go and have a look around. The buildings next door were all joined into one. And they used to come here and plot to kill the Jews, the Jewish people that were next door.
As night descended on Lincoln, we waited for our shadow seeker to arrive. And as soon as he did, he started sensing spirits.
Upstairs, there's a heavy-set person wandering around, thinking what's going on. There's also 2 very much lighter footstep people, female one of them, and the other one's trying to hide.
Mark felt the strongest presence upstairs in the far corner of the room.
There is... It's that young lass, actually, the young lass I mentioned earlier. Late teens, 22, thank you.
Carol Ann was keen to speak to Mark, sharing how she died in an embarrassing, drunken accident. But would she be so keen to speak to me? Hello. Hello.
You really have to, it's not just say it, think it.
Yeah.
Think it as well. Yeah.
Hello. So maybe my paranormal skills aren't up to par, and my sixth sense could do with a little bit more work. But with the spine-chilling night upon us, who knows who'll be sitting next to you at the dinner table this Halloween.
That was Aaron Renfrew there with that report.
With Halloween just around the corner, everyone's preparing for the festivities and buying decorations and costumes. It's a busy time of the year for local businesses who are trying to keep up with the demand and selling their spooky stock. Jared finds out more.
Pumpkins, pumpkins everywhere. You just know it's nearly October 31st when pumpkins are about. Originating from an old Irish tale, they're now the centrepiece in our own Halloween celebrations. And that's why we're donning our farmers' caps, and we've come to a pumpkin farmer's on the outskirts of Lincoln. We want to find out where those big orange things that you find in the supermarket at Halloween actually come from. So where are they? As I learned, you won't find pumpkins growing in the fields at this time of year. Instead, they've all been cut and ready for sale in the Spinney Farm shop. Owned and run by Bridget Foster and her partner John for the past 22 years, the couple grow and sell over 500 pumpkins a year, all at Halloween. Tractors, strawberries and raspberries, Brussels sprouts and potatoes can be found around the farm. But at Halloween, pumpkins are the main attraction.
They're normally cut when they're ready, which is normally August, September. This year it was a little bit later, so probably beginning of September. We cut them all, we wash them, we store them in one of the sheds, and then we bring them out for sale a couple of weeks before Halloween. The last 2 years we've sold everything. How it's going to go this year, I've no idea, but hopefully by Sunday night, Monday, we won't have one left.
And what about any tips for carving pumpkins?
Draw it out so that you know what you're doing. Don't go in with a knife and cut blind, and have a bucket on hand to get the sloppy seeds and the insides and put it in a bucket.
Well, that was good fun. And now the weather with Natasha Ireton-Burke.
Weather today will be mainly dry and mostly cloudy, with top temperatures of 14 degrees. This will lower tonight to 10 degrees. Looking ahead to tomorrow, the morning will start with patches of rain and mainly cloud. As the day progresses, we'll see brighter spells across the region. Top temperatures of 16 degrees. Natasha Ireton-Burke, LSJ Today.
Well, after I visited the farm, we took a couple of pumpkins, didn't we, Christina? And we've got them here for you. We had a little competition to see who could create the better pumpkins. So I'll hold that up there, see if you can see that. Now, Christina, if you just turn yours round, you had a bit of a problem with doing yours, didn't you?
Mine didn't go very well to begin with.
Too well.
But,
I don't know if we can see the pictures of us creating them, but I don't think we can. But yeah, so we've been asking you on social media to send us your creative pumpkin designs, and after the programme we're going to publish some of the best of them, and it's been great to see them come in, actually, some great designs. But unfortunately that's it from the LSJ Today team. Thank you for joining us.
You can catch up with us on social media at LSJ Today Tweets and on facebook.com/LSJ News. You can also see us on YouTube, and don't forget to visit our website lsjnews.co.uk. See you soon!